this slide isn't advancing. Oh, there we go. Next Future Transportation was founded to solve traffic congestion and to offer more dynamic solutions to municipal transit agencies. There's an estimated 3.1 billion vehicles on the roadways today, and every year 70 million additional vehicles are added. As a result, many of us are stuck in traffic. Ironically, we're stuck in traffic while headed to generally the same location. Most vehicles, most 5-seat vehicles at the same time, are only occupied by one person. And frankly, public transit doesn't provide any better options, so we're left with that. But at the same time, public transit agencies are faced with tremendous challenges and need to prioritize where to focus resources and, quite frankly, where to balance budgets and deploy capital. Because of that prioritization, public transit agencies have been unable to keep up with innovation and, quite frankly, with population demands for better services. And that has opened up the opportunity for innovators to enter the market. And so what we want is ubiquity. We want services that are available to us as we commute door to door. And it turns out that the taxi or ride-hailing solution is ambiguous. At the same time, it compounds the challenge of creating more traffic footprint, which has been studied. And frankly, it does not address the scale of the challenge in any unique way. Municipal buses are antiquated. They're the most underutilized modality in the mix available to us, 10% occupancy rate, therefore unprofitable and very expensive to own and operate. And so as a modality, innovation is associated now with going to electric buses, an asset that municipal transit agencies acquire at anywhere from $500,000 per bus and above. At the same time, there has been innovation, autonomous electric shuttles. And we're tracking about 100 of those shuttles. Some are highly funded and supported by corporations, have emerged, but they're not scalable. They're actually very slow operating and won't be able to operate on public roadways at scale. So is there a solution that really sits in between, that can really provide the traffic congestion mitigation while also the innovation that's required? Enter Next Future Transportation. And so Next is a robotics and AI company that is developing an autonomous modular electric pod and the operating system to bring its transportation as a service solutions to market at scale. What makes Next unique is its ability for its independently swarming pods to connect and disconnect while in full motion. Once connected, the internal space opens up and is shared, very similar to a bus or light rail. However, load factors increase. How Next works is similar to ride-hailing, and ultimately what makes Next the solution that will mitigate congestion is the ability, which is driven through the algorithm, to reassign passengers based on their final destination. So you may board in one pod, then you're reassigned to another seat within the connected fleet based on your final destination. There are several scientific studies that we have participated in that look at this solution, in-motion transfer of passengers as compared to other and existing approaches. And we have the ability to reduce traffic footprint by 85% based on the same amount of people moved. So essentially, Next is a platform. It starts with the vehicle, which can be self-driving. We're not going to go to market in self-driving mode, rather with a driver-operated modular fleet where we can basically scale up or scale down based on demand. And several other solutions that we're developing as part of this platform. But what's important to recognize here is it's not all about us, but it's really a platform for co-innovation and participation of partners. And so it's services delivered and services in motion that ultimately will make this platform a success. Several patents that we have secured and some pending. And the applications also extend into logistics. I know I need to hurry. So ultimately it's delivering transportation as a service to municipalities. So it's business innovation as much as it's technological innovation and a unique model that is developed with that. We received support from Dubai and delivered our first commercial prototype, which is being tested in Dubai right now. The ruler of Dubai, Sheikh Al Maktoum, saw our vision and invited us to participate. And the first commercial prototype was introduced at the World Government Summit to world leaders. We're currently undergoing the homologation process for type approval. We're not a car, we're not a bus, but we'll receive certification for a new vehicle, and we intend to operate at 55 miles an hour in a connected fleet. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you so much, Sven. Anybody else want to get in one of those? I do. Definitely do. Any questions from the judges? Yes, Ben. Oh, Gregory. Duel it out.
You showed very quickly regarding the approach for the B2B for the last miles. And I think it's a very big aspect of this type of pod. What's your vision about that? Are you expecting maybe to first go on the B2B market and after coming back on the B2C? Because right now we need to manage with globally the regular traffic.
So we will launch in a controlled environment, and again with the driver, because it reduces risk, and our insurances will provide support, and we're working with union labor, by the way, in cities. But it will be a controlled environment where we can test passengers and goods. We're actually working right now with the government of Norway to realize the first project. And then are looking to deploy a first commercial fleet. And that commercial fleet will be in a semi-controlled environment. If you can imagine a BRT lane that gives us a dedicated path.
Thanks, that was a really cool demo. A lot of good ideas have the wrong timing. So the question I have for you is why now? It seems like this is, has self-driving as a prerequisite for it to work, and a lot of the value is created in the self-driving piece. So why are you tackling both simultaneously right now?
No, great question. So it's actually not about self-driving for us. We're actually not dependent on legislation. So we'll have a driver up front in the connected fleet, and initially the value prop to the transit agencies is our ability to scale up and scale down. So high demand in the morning, high demand in the evening, otherwise we can utilize those vehicles differently. What we are doing autonomously at the bus yard, if you were to connect 10 pods, we can do that autonomously, so you don't need 10 drivers to connect them, and we've proven that already.
You've presented a very powerful vision that disrupts the existing modalities of transit, but what I don't have a sense of is phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 to get to that vision. Yeah. Maybe you can share just quickly what that would be.
So we're testing right now in Dubai with the transit agency in a controlled environment. Meanwhile, we're also working on the homologation process with the EU, and that is to get type approval for this new vehicle and also roadworthiness. We are deploying a first small fleet in Padua, Italy, where our research lab and co-founder resides. And then, as I mentioned, a more significant fleet, again, incorporation in Norway. By the way, we're an asset-light company. All contract manufacturing will be done by a tier 1 recognized contract manufacturer that can deliver on time, on budget, and take risk. When it comes to operating, we don't have a balance sheet, but when you put passengers at risk, someone needs to manage that. And there are French companies like, big RATP, Transdev, Keolis, that have actually turned to us for a solution because on their balance sheet, that bus is the red figure that they can't affect.
Great. Thank you so much, Sven.
Thank you.
Round of applause.